Very often, especially the moms, bio moms view you as a threat, and they will say things and they will do things to either Hey friends, thank you so much for being here and clicking on this video. If you are a regular subscriber viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate having you here. If you're a new viewer to this channel, if you're interested in mom life, parenting, foster care and adoption, some mama beauty, creating an impact, and living a beautiful life, if any of that interests you, I would love to have you subscribe down below, hit the little bell. It lets you know when I post a new video. I'm trying really hard to stay to a consistent schedule of 3 videos a week for you guys. So today what we're going to talk about is foster care and when the bio family is the enemy. You know, this has come up in foster care support groups often because I'm a huge advocate for reunification and helping these families, and I believe everybody deserves a second chance no matter what, and a shot at changing their life around in order to restore a family. I'm a firm believer in that. Hi, sweet girl. I have a cute little cuddly bear with me. But you know, I've heard many other foster parents say like, wow, it's really like unique that you have these kind of relationships. Like that's not the norm. And, you know, maybe it's not the norm, and maybe every single case that we've had, I've been able to develop a relationship for the most part. I had 2 that were a little bit difficult, but every other one I've been able to develop a relationship with the bio family. And in many cases have been able to continue that relationship. And has it taken a lot of effort on my part and biting my tongue? Yes. But, you know, I think the more adults that love these kids, the better the outcome is going to be. And, you know, having these children then removed from my home to go back to their own home, that's instilling more trauma because it's like another loss for them, right? So the more I can stay in their life, or our kids can stay in their life, the better I think it is. And whether that's just sending videos or pictures or whatnot, but you guys, if you've been here for a while, you know how I feel about that. But let's talk about when the bio family is the enemy. Now, I never want the bio family to be the enemy on the account of the foster parents. So I really want you guys to check your emotions and your feelings on this. I know when you hear a child's been left alone, is starving, is been so neglected, it's hard. It's hard. The judgment comes up quick for these bio families. But if you're a new foster parent and you haven't been around for a while and you haven't dealt with these types of families in the past, I want you to know that very often something worse happened to them as a child. Or they have mental health, or they have addictions. You know, they are in really dark, deep places, and getting their child taken away is the bottom of the bottom for many of them. And, you know, you will see lives change and families restored. And then there will be some cases that addictions are too deep or mental health is too much. These families cannot be restored. And then that's when the child goes for adoption. But I want you to, like, you can't make them the enemy. You know, in the Bible, it tells us to love our enemies. And I know the kids come first. And when you're caring for the kids, they come first. And it's hard, guys. And I know how hard it is. You know, God sees the bigger plan and the greater purpose more than I can see. You know, I can only see a few steps ahead of me. And just, you know, I just really want to encourage you to be open, to let them in to your life a little bit, and to help them and to support them and let them know that you're rooting for them. Because very often, especially the moms, bio moms view you as a threat, and they will say things and they will do things to either get their kid moved from your care. They may come up with allegations. You know, he's got a bruise, he didn't have this bruise, you must be hitting him. Guys, allegations against foster parents are huge, and you know, 9 times out of 10 they are unfounded. They're just the bio family trying to exert some sort of control. So I really want to encourage you guys to kill it with kindness, because eventually these people are going to see that you're trying to help them and you're trying to help their family. But getting defensive and getting your back up when they do stuff like that, it doesn't help the cause. It's only going to further the allegations and the issues and strain your relationship even farther. Now I want to talk... I got a little chatterbox, don't we? I wanted to talk a little bit about fostering babies versus fostering older kids. Now, with older kids, I find it easier to support their family because for one, they have attachments to them. And you see them light up when they get to go for a visit. As much as things were difficult and hard, you see them light up when they get to see their bio family. And, you know, you want that. And you see there's a relationship there that's already been developed. I find it easier to support parents of older children. When you're fostering babies, especially when you've brought them home from the hospital or you've gotten them very early in life, it's a different dynamic. And I just want to encourage you to be careful with how much information about yourself you give them. Because I know some foster parents are like, here's my phone number, like, and sometimes you really have to be careful because you are the one that's creating and bonding with their child. So they can have a lot of hatred towards you, and they can say things like, you know, he's so hungry you don't send enough food, or you know, she spits up so much you need to send more outfits, and you're not sending enough food, you're not sending enough snacks, you're not sending enough diapers. Like, you can have the bag packed full. And I know from one of my last videos that often the bio families have to bring the bag, but for us we have to bring all of the supplies. Or this type of formula doesn't work. You know, I fed my other child this and they never had these problems. And they're just know that they're always going to try and find something that they can do better than you. Just give them the benefit of the doubt and know the emotions that they are going through. And just be careful. I always like to give it a few weeks, even a few months, to see how things are going to progress with the babies versus the older kids, because things are different. And, you know, moms can try in the beginning and then not try, and then they have your phone number and what are they saying to you? And, you know, I've heard this even from workers, to just be careful how much contact you have. You know, I don't have my real name on Facebook. I don't give anyone my phone number until it's been at least a month and I can kind of judge how things are going to go. And even in that case, like, not all of our placements, not all of the bio families had our phone number. I'm trying to think. We had our first little guy, not our second, but her mom was just not open to a relationship with us. Our third had our phone number. Our fourth was only with us a couple weeks. Our fifth and sixth, they got our phone number at like the first placement. And, you know, as much as it turned out to be great and we had developed a great relationship, in the beginning I really regretted giving it out so soon, because she missed her kids. Her kids were a bit older and she wanted to talk to them all the time, and she would call and, you know, text and how are they doing and this and that. And, you know, in those beginning months you're just trying to figure out life as a new foster family. And, you know, as much as it was good for them, and I think it was good for the boys, in the end it was really difficult, because I had other kids to put to bed, and every night they wanted to talk to their mom and she wanted to talk to them, and I wanted to do it for them, but it did become very straining because it would bring up emotions for them, and they missed their mom and they wanted their mom there. And, you know, she would read a book to them over the phone, and sometimes she'd be out when we called, so she didn't have the book and they wanted her to read the book. So, you know, there was some issues with it, but overall I am glad I did it. But I think I would have waited and held off a little bit and just developed a relationship with her, you know, at the visits first. One thing I recommend is setting up an email address that you only use for your bio families to contact with you, because that way you can contact them when you want, read the emails when you want. It's not like they're calling and they're texting you on your phone. But, you know, a lot of the times you're the enemy, and they're going to do mean things to you, and they're going to sometimes make you feel like you just want to give up because you're providing so much love and care for their little child, but all they're doing is blaming you for things. And, you know, it's like, it's easy to get your back up, and it's like, well, your child wouldn't be with me if blank, blank, blank. Like, so it's easy to get your back up, but don't encourage that enemy position any more than it's already there, because it is going to be there. I can tell you guys right now, I've had none of our families have been like happy right off the bat that their kid is in foster care. Many of our families have grown to be happy that they were in foster care and they realized the help that they needed and were happy that their child was with us for those X amount of months. But in the beginning, it never starts that way. And, you know, I think back to Sunflower. It was her second or third visit. And I went and picked her up, and her mom was bawling. And, you know, she had cried the other kind of visits when she had to leave, but she was very visibly, like, shakenly upset. And the worker told me after that Sunflower was asking for us, or was asking for me in particular. And her mom had tried to hug her or something, and she, like, pushed her away, and she just started calling my name, and she was crying for me. And that killed her mom, and I can only imagine, like, how that would feel. Now, Sunflower has a great relationship with both of us now, and she's obviously back with her mom, and she's doing really well, but just know, you know, after that meeting, her mom was not very pleasant to me for a few meetings after. And especially when you're dealing with moms that have mental health issues, like, just don't make them the enemy more than they have to be, or more than they're going to be. And just try your best, guys, because it's only better for the kids if the families, the foster family and the bio family, can get along. Anyways, I just wanted to encourage you with that. And if you're dealing with a particularly hard family, I know, and I know it's hard to love them when they keep choosing other things over their kids. But just know that they come from a place of brokenness very often. It's not like they're just choosing that. You know, they don't have the capacity to have healthy relationships very often, and they don't have the capacity to choose their child over addiction because the addiction is so strong and they have no support and no help. Just be a little bit more compassionate, love their child, love them, and that's, yeah. And that's all I have to say for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it. Please consider subscribing, like I said earlier, if you're new here. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.